the thing is, some of this blowback is going to hit some black folks.
Yeah.
It's going to affect some black people are going to be affected by some of these rollbacks, right? But that doesn't mean that this is something that's setting black people back as a whole. Because what we need to look at is, okay, this was put in place.
1965.
Right. This was put in place 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we have to look at is, okay, over the last 60 years, since this was put in place, how much progress have black people made as a whole? Is this something that was put in place that was actually working for us? Or was there a few black people here and there that were able to, benefit and take advantage of it? Which is cool. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Certain black people get to do certain things, but we cannot try to paint this picture of this is affecting the black community as a whole, because what was our economic standing prior to this executive order, and what is our economic standing 60 years after the executive order is put in place?
Right.
And if we're still in the same exact position, then that means it was a nothing burger. It was useless. And that's the thing about all of these DEI programs and some of these civil rights, equal opportunity legislations like affirmative action and things of that nature. That's the thing about it. Does it address our core issues, or is it just window dressing? And we're saying it's only window dressing. So why are we afraid to get rid of it? Why are we afraid to let it go? Because it's actually working against us, because it's lifting up all of these other groups above us.
Exactly.
So our economic situation is the same now as it was 60 years ago. But 60 years ago, we didn't have a buffer class in between us and the white supremacists. We were number two.
Right.
We were in the same economic situation, but we were number two. Now, what these programs have done was pile a whole bunch of other groups on top of us.
Black labor, white wealth, y'all. I actually reread it. I'm in the process now, mid through it. I had to reread it. You know what I'm saying? Since the Trump, election, I was like, let me reread this stuff, because there's some stuff that I forgot. I had to reread it, and he's talking about the buffer classes throughout the book as well. I don't know if you have it on here, if you want to show this one, but it was a sister on X. Her name is One of None Villain. And she posted some interesting information, or about the rolling back. She says this EO was established in 1965. 60 years has passed since then, and in 60 years, Black people make up 3.6% of those contracts, y'all. You would think that we would be at least at 50% if this was an effect, if the ENO was effective. However, wait. If this was an effective EO, however, the numbers say otherwise. This fear mongering won't work this time. And I actually went back this morning into Chat GPT, and on her, she did 2023. I did 2024 through his most recent election, and then percentage is at 3.7%, y'all. So we've made no progress in 60 years, and yet people are windmilling in our comments all over social media, putting up videos and all this crap, whining about something that we've only gained 3.7% of those contracts since 1965.
Right. Exactly. And so this illustration that's on your screen right here is the perfect illustration.
That's DEI right there.
This is what's being taken away from us, y'all. This is what's being taken away from us. Yeah, there was some crumbs on the table for us in some of these programs. There was some crumbs on the table, but everybody else was getting whole slices of cake.
Right.
And so now what's getting taken away is all of those slices of cake. Right? And so now this Negro right here in the back can deal directly with this white supremacist at the top. We can get rid of all these in between minority groups and all of that. We can bypass all of that and go directly to the culprit. And he's the one that's hoarding all the tangibles. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way that we got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Teslin, I like Teslin, But I don't know if she don't understand that or what her deal is, because you majoring in the minors, beloved.
I think we've been conditioned though to, although she uses her contracts, to employ and better, help out Black people. She's also only one person. So
Mm-hmm.
it's only so much that she can do as one
Mm-hmm.
person. And I think that's the part that's missing. Yeah, it's cool for you. And we
Right.
appreciate what you have been able to do, to help other Black people with the contracts. But what about the masses of us? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the whole, I feel, flexing about what I can do. Me, I, but nothing about the group. And no other group thinks that way.
Right. You play as a team or you lose by default.
Those,
We
period.
got to keep going back to Dr. Anderson. Whenever we have these
Yeah.
discussions, we just got to keep going back to Dr. Claude Anderson, man. You play as a team or you lose by default. That's how this works. That's how this works. And so Dr. Anderson, who is responsible for writing one of the first affirmative action programs in the country when he was over the education system down in Florida, he's been saying we need to pull out of affirmative action.
Yep.
The man who one of the main people who's responsible for implementing it in the first place is saying, nah, this is a trick bag. We need to pull out of it because it wasn't meant to go to all these other groups. He designed it specifically for us, foundational Black Americans, but they put this trick bag language in there and it's benefiting everybody except us. And they don't have a legitimate grievance to justify these benefits in the first place. So these are unearned benefits. And so if we pull out of it, then there's nothing for them to stand on to justify continuing to receive it. And so that's what we're seeing happen. So this